Okay, so imagine a world where, the financial system actually worked for everyone,
Yeah.
not just a select few.
Right.
You sent us this book, Fintech Feminists.
Yeah.
And wow, it's really changed how I look at things. And we're going to break down some of those aha moments and real world stories today so you understand how this all impacts you, even if Wall Street feels like a million miles away.
You know what's really important here is how Fintech Feminists acts as a magnifying glass on the entire financial system.
Yeah.
It helps us see where finance needs to be more inclusive
Right.
and how that can actually lead to better outcomes for absolutely everyone.
It's not just about fairness.
Right.
It's about smart economics.
Absolutely.
Chapter 2, get in. We're rescuing the economy, throws this wide open right away.
Yeah.
It talks about financial inclusion, but not just in that basic, everyone has a bank account way.
Exactly, yeah. The book argues that women are a huge economic force.
Right.
They control trillions in assets, but traditional finance just hasn't served them well. So they're often left out of the equation, both as customers and as leaders.
And Sally Kruchek's story really brings that to life.
Yes.
She left Wall Street to found Ellevest, and that's an investment platform built specifically for women.
Yeah.
What stood out to me wasn't just that it existed, but how it addresses the unique challenges women investors face.
Yeah.
Like career breaks or the wage gap, and they actually factor that into the financial planning.
That's a key insight.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just offer the same products to everyone, right?
Right.
You have to understand the specific needs and circumstances of the people you're serving.
Right.
And Ellevest challenges that one-size-fits-all approach of traditional finance.
Now, Chapter 3, Defying the Odds, digs into the barriers women face, even when they're creating these amazing fintech solutions.
Yeah.
And this funding gap thing, the fact that women-led startups get a tiny slice of venture capital just blew my mind.
Really?
Especially since the book cites research showing they deliver better returns.
It really challenges the assumptions, doesn't it? The book calls out this VC bro culture where this lack of diversity amongst investors leads to missed opportunities.
Yeah.
It's like they're overlooking a gold mine because they're only looking in one spot.
Catherine Finney's story really drives this home.
Yeah.
She founded Digital Undivided to support Black and Latina women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It made me think, how many brilliant ideas never even get off the ground because of these biases?
Well, it's about recognizing that talent and good ideas exist everywhere,
Yeah.
but opportunity does not. And the book argues that this isn't just a problem for women, it's a problem for everyone.
Right.
When we limit access to capital for women and minority-led ventures,
Yeah.
we're limiting innovation and growth for the entire economy.
Right. It's not just about fairness. It's about maximizing potential.
Yes.
This connects to Chapter 6, Making Finance Work Worldwide, which opened my eyes to the global scale of this.
Yeah.
It's not just about developed economies. Fintech is revolutionizing how people access financial services in emerging markets, too.
Exactly. And again, it's not about charity.
Right.
The book highlights women's world banking,
Yeah.
which partners with fintechs in developing countries to provide these financial tools tailored to women's needs.
Yeah.
When you empower women financially,
Yeah.
you empower communities.
Yeah.
They become entrepreneurs, they become leaders, and they're engines of economic growth.
It makes you realize those ripple effects, right?
Yes.
It's not just about individual success.
Right.
It's about lifting entire communities
Yes.
and creating a more prosperous world for everyone.
Exactly.
And that brings us to Chapter 7, Root of Problems, which gets a little heavier,
Yeah.
but is super important.
Yeah, this is where the book really digs into the systemic inequities that are kind of baked into traditional finance.
Yeah.
Things like credit scores or lending practices that can unintentionally disadvantage certain groups.
Right.
It's not always about overt discrimination. It's about systems that were built without really considering these nuances.
They use Aura as an example. Yeah. It's this financial wellness platform that leverages behavioral science to help people manage financial anxiety and make better decisions, particularly for those in lower income communities.
Right.
It really highlights how technology can be used to address those root causes of financial stress.
It's about meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
Recognizing that different groups might need different types of support to thrive.
Right.
And it challenges us to think, how can we design systems that promote fairness from the ground up?
Absolutely. So shifting gears to another big theme, Chapter 8, The Room Where It Happens, profiles successful women in fintech.
Yes.
It's full of stories about breaking down the bamboo ceiling, which the book defines as the barriers that keep women from rising to leadership positions.
What struck me was the emphasis on representation.
Yeah.
Lizzie Cohen's story, for example, shows that women can navigate complex financial instruments
Yeah.
and disrupt the, old boys club of finance.
Yeah.
She's a pioneer in the SPAC world,
Yeah.
which stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Companies.
Yeah, I had to look that one up too.
Yeah.
But it's not just about understanding the jargon.
Right.
It's about seeing that women can excel at every level of finance. These stories are like, hey, if they can do it, so can I.
Exactly.
It's about expanding possibilities.
Yes.
And challenging those limiting beliefs that hold people back.
Exactly. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
But it also acts as a call to action.
Right.
We need to celebrate these successes, mentor the next generation of women leaders,
Yeah.
and hold companies accountable for creating truly inclusive environments,
Yeah. Absolutely.
where everyone can thrive and contribute their full potential.
Totally. And I think that's a great place to kind of pause for now.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we have.
But there's so much more to unpack in Fintech Feminists.
Absolutely. There's so much more to explore in this book.
So we'll be back in the next part to dive deeper into some more of those key takeaways and stories.
Definitely looking forward to it. And it's not just about getting women into those roles.
Right.
It's about changing the culture of finance itself. The book talks about how these women leaders are bringing a different perspective, focusing on things like collaboration, empathy, and long-term value creation.
Yeah, it's like they're redefining what success looks like.
Yeah.
Not just for themselves, but for the whole industry.
Exactly.
And speaking of redefining things,
Yeah.
Chapter 14, Tackling Student Debt. And its ripple effects really hit me hard.
Yeah.
It lays out the scope of the problem, but also how fintech is stepping in to help.
This chapter really resonated with me, too.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers.
Right.
But behind every statistic is a person who's struggling with student loan debt.
Right.
The book features Laurel Taylor, who founded Candidly.
Yeah.
Her company partners with employers to help employees manage and pay down their student loans.
It's brilliant because it tackles the problem from both sides.
Yes.
Helping individuals and working with existing systems to create more sustainable solutions.
Exactly.
And the book emphasizes that student loan debt isn't just a personal problem.
Right.
It's a drag on the whole economy.
Exactly. It affects everything from home ownership to entrepreneurship.
Right.
When people are burdened with debt, it limits their choices and holds back their potential.
Yeah.
Candidly is proving that we can address this problem head on
Yeah.
and create a more vibrant economy for everyone.
Okay, switching gears a bit. Chapter 15, Defeating Inequity with Data, dives into this idea that data can be a tool for good or for bad.
Right.
And it made me think about algorithms
Yeah.
and how they can unintentionally perpetuate biases if we're not careful.
Yeah, the key takeaway here is that data isn't neutral.
Right.
It reflects the biases of the systems it comes from.
Yeah.
So the book argues that fintech companies have this huge responsibility to use data ethically
Yep.
and design algorithms that promote fairness.
Right.
It's about using technology to solve problems, not create new ones.
Right. It's not a magic bullet.
Yeah,
We have to be really intentional about how we use data.
absolutely.
And then there's Chapter 9,
Yeah.
Safeguarding the Digital Realm,
Mm-hmm.
and Exploration of Anonybit,
Yes.
which takes us into the world of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Honestly, this felt a little like a spy thriller at times.
Yes, right. Anna Zelazny,
Yeah.
the founder of Anonybit, is
Yeah.
doing incredible work in biometric security.
Yeah.
It's about protecting our personal data in an increasingly digital world.
Right.
Data breaches and identity theft are on the rise. So it's not just about convenience anymore.
Yeah.
It's about safety and trust.
And it's not just about protecting individuals, right?
Right.
The book talks about how Anonybit is also securing entire systems to prevent these widespread data breaches,
Yeah,
which is crucial for the whole fintech ecosystem.
exactly.
If people don't feel safe, they won't participate.
Exactly. It's like building a house, right?
Right.
You need a strong foundation of security and trust for everything else to work. Yeah.
And I love that as a woman leading the charge in this field,
Yeah.
it challenges that stereotype of cybersecurity being a boys' club
Right.
and shows that women can be pioneers in any area of tech.
Speaking of pioneers, let's circle back to Chapter 2.
Okay.
Get in. We're rescuing the economy.
Yes.
I know we touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
But I want to dig into this idea of the gender wealth gap.
Okay.
The book really breaks down how this disparity isn't just unfair.
Yeah.
It's bad for the economy as a whole.
It's about recognizing that women face systemic barriers to building wealth,
Right.
from lower wages to caregiving responsibilities that often impact their careers.
Yeah.
Sally Kocek and Elves are tackling this head-on.
Yeah.
But the book also calls for these broader policy changes like affordable childcare and paid family leave
Right.
to create a more level playing field.
Right. It's not just about individual choices. It's about creating an environment where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
And this connects to Chapter 12, Unlocking the Care Economy,
Mm.
which was really eye-opening.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about caregiving as a major part of the economy.
Right.
But it's huge.
It is. The book argues that the care economy is often undervalued and underpaid,
Yeah.
even though it's essential for our society.
Right.
And it highlights Sheila Lirio Marcello,
Yeah.
the founder of Care.com,
Yeah.
which connects families with caregivers and provides resources and support.
It's like she saw a need that wasn't being met
Yeah,
and built a whole platform to address it.
exactly.
And the book talks about how technology can help make care work more visible,
Yes.
more valued, and ultimately more sustainable.
Right.
It's about recognizing the importance of caregiving,
Yes.
both for individuals and for the economy.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making caregiving easier.
Right.
It's about valuing it properly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to a topic that's on everyone's mind these days, AI,
Right.
artificial intelligence.
Well-
Chapter 13, AI for Chief Household Officers, explores how AI is changing the game
Yeah.
when it comes to managing our finances and our lives.
Okay, this is the part where I feel like I was stepping into the future.
Right. They highlight Ojai.ai,
Yeah.
which uses AI to help individuals and families manage their daily schedules, finances, and to-do lists.
Yeah, it's like having a personal assistant who's always on top of everything.
The key takeaway here is that AI can simplify our lives
Yeah.
and help us make better financial decisions.
Right.
It can automate tasks, provide personalized recommendations, and even anticipate our needs,
Right.
before we even realize them.
Yeah, but the book also emphasizes those ethical considerations, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to make sure that AI is designed and used responsibly
Yes.
so it benefits everyone
Right.
and doesn't create new forms of bias or discrimination.
Exactly. It's like any powerful tool.
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
We have to be mindful of the potential consequences and ensure that AI is aligned with our values.
Okay, let's talk about another sector of fintech that's making waves.
Okay.
Wealth tech.
Yeah.
Chapter 16, Tapping into Wealth Tech, explores how technology is democratizing access to wealth management services that were traditionally only available to the ultra-wealthy.
Right. And Margaret Hartigan, the
Yeah.
founder and CEO of Marstone, is a great example of this.
Yeah.
Her company partners with financial institutions to provide personalized wealth management solutions that are accessible and affordable.
Right.
It's about making it easier for everyone to invest and grow their wealth regardless of their income level.
It's like they're breaking down those exclusive barriers
Yeah.
and saying, hey, financial well-being shouldn't be a luxury, it's a right.
Exactly.
And I love that they're also focused on financial education,
Yeah.
helping individuals understand their options and make informed decisions.
It's about empowering people to take control of their financial futures,
Right.
rather than just handing over their money to someone else and hoping for the best.
And this connects back to that theme of financial inclusion.
Yes.
It's not just about having access to services.
Right.
It's about having the knowledge and confidence to use them effectively.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that everyone's financial journey is different and that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. And speaking of different journeys, Chapter 6, Making Finance Work Worldwide, really expanded my worldview. It dives into how fintech is transforming access to financial services, especially in emerging markets.
This chapter was truly eye-opening. It highlighted how fintech is not just a trend in developed economies, but a global force for positive change.
Yes.
The book showcases Women's World Banking, an organization that collaborates with fintech companies in developing countries to provide financial tools tailored to women's needs.
What struck me was how empowering this is for women in these regions. They gain access to credit, savings, and other financial services that were previously unavailable, allowing them to become entrepreneurs, support their families, and drive economic growth in their communities.
It really showcases the ripple effect of financial inclusion. It's not just about individual success, but about uplifting entire communities and ultimately contributing to a more prosperous and equitable world. It's amazing how fintech can bridge geographical gaps and connect people to opportunities they might never have had otherwise.
It's a powerful reminder that innovation can happen anywhere, and that the potential for positive change is immense when we leverage technology thoughtfully and inclusively. And speaking of recognizing potential, let's delve into Chapter 6, Why Women Are the Best Borrowers. This one really challenges traditional lending practices and makes a strong case for investing in women entrepreneurs.
This chapter was so insightful. It tackles the misconception that women are risky borrowers head-on, presenting evidence that they have an excellent track record of repaying loans. The book argues that women are often overlooked by traditional lenders, despite being incredibly reliable and successful in managing finances.
It's about challenging those outdated assumptions and recognizing the incredible potential that lies in supporting women-led businesses. The book highlights organizations like Women's World Banking, again, showcasing their efforts to provide access to credit and other financial resources specifically for women entrepreneurs in developing countries.
It's amazing to see how these initiatives are empowering women to build thriving businesses, create jobs, and drive economic growth in their communities. It's a testament to the power of challenging the status quo and recognizing the untapped potential that exists when we create more inclusive financial systems.
It's about recognizing the value and contributions of women as economic drivers and creating a more just and prosperous world for everyone. And this connects beautifully with Chapter 11, Growing Out of Business, which tells the incredible story of Lara Hodgson, co-founder of Now Corp.
Oh, I loved her story. It's such a powerful example of how someone outside the traditional finance world can disrupt the system and create real change. She and her business partner, Stacey Abrams, faced challenges in accessing funding for their own business, and that experience inspired them to create Now Corp.
Exactly. Now Core specifically addresses the funding gap for small businesses, offering financing solutions that are tailored to their unique needs. It's a testament to their ingenuity and determination to turn a personal challenge into an opportunity to empower others.
It's inspiring to see how their lived experiences gave them a fresh perspective and allowed them to see solutions that others might have missed. And it challenges that notion that you need a fancy finance degree or Wall Street experience to make a difference in the fintech world.
It's about recognizing that innovation can come from anywhere, and that diverse perspectives are essential for creating solutions that truly meet the needs of everyone. And speaking of diverse perspectives, Chapter 7, Access to Data to Drive Innovation Differently, dives deep into how systemic inequities can show up in data and how we can use data responsibly to create more equitable solutions.
This chapter was a real wake-up call. It made me realize that data isn't neutral. It reflects the biases of the systems it comes from, and if we're not careful, those biases can be amplified and perpetuated through algorithms and data analysis.
The book makes a strong argument for using data ethically and designing algorithms that promote fairness, not discrimination. It highlights companies like Aura again, which is using data and behavioral science to create financial products that are tailored to the needs of underserved communities.
It's about using technology to address the root causes of financial inequality and create a more just and inclusive system for everyone. And it's about recognizing that data can be a powerful tool for good, but only if we use it responsibly and intentionally.
It's about harnessing the power of data to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And speaking of creating a more equitable world, Chapter 12, The Power of Transparency was really insightful. It emphasized the importance of transparency for building trust and accountability in the financial system.
I love how this chapter tackled the issue of transparency head-on. It emphasized that fintech companies have a responsibility to be upfront about their products, their fees, and their algorithms. It's about creating a level playing field where consumers can make informed choices and hold companies accountable.
Exactly. Transparency is not just about disclosing information, it's about building trust and fostering a sense of fairness. And the book argues that transparency is especially crucial for building a more inclusive financial system. When everyone understands the rules of the game, it's easier to participate and thrive.
It's about empowering consumers with knowledge and giving them the tools they need to make decisions that align with their values and financial goals.
And speaking of aligning values, Chapter 4, Tapping into Latina-Owned Businesses, really struck a chord with me. It highlights the importance of supporting businesses owned by people of color despite any pushback or challenges that might arise.
This chapter was so inspiring. It really showcased the incredible economic power of Latina-owned businesses and the vital role they play in our communities. The book makes a compelling case for investing in their success, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it makes good business sense.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that supporting businesses owned by people of color is not just about social justice. It's about tapping into a massive and growing market that is often overlooked, and the book doesn't shy away from addressing the challenges these businesses face, including the lawsuit against Fearless Fund, a venture capital fund that invests in businesses owned by women of color.
That lawsuit was really disheartening, wasn't it? It felt like a step backward in the fight for equality and inclusion. But the book's message remains powerful. Embracing diversity is not just about fairness, it's about innovation and economic growth.
Absolutely. When we create opportunities for everyone to succeed, we all benefit. And speaking of creating opportunities, Chapter 2, How Hard Is It to Raise a Series B? Provides a raw and honest look at the challenges women face in securing funding for their businesses.
This chapter was really eye-opening, especially the story of Sally Krochek and her journey to raise a Series B round of funding for Elevest. It highlighted how even successful women with proven track records can encounter bias and discrimination when seeking funding.
It's a stark reminder that the playing field is far from level and that we need to do more to support women entrepreneurs, from providing access to mentorship and networks to challenging the ingrained biases that exist within the venture capital world.
The book emphasizes that changing the culture of venture capital is crucial for creating a more equitable ecosystem where women have the same opportunities to succeed as their male counterparts.
It's about recognizing that talent and potential are not limited by gender, and that investing in women-led businesses is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. And speaking of smart investments, Chapter 2, Consumer Fintech is Alive and Well, delves into the fascinating world of embedded finance.
Oh, the chapter was so cool. It really opened my eyes to how seamlessly finance is being integrated into our everyday lives. They talk about companies like Stash, which offers embedded investing features within its platform, making it easier for people to invest small amounts of money directly from their checking accounts.
It's brilliant. Embedded finance is all about making financial services more accessible and convenient by integrating them into the platforms we already use. It's about breaking down those barriers and making it easier for everyone to participate in the financial system, whether they're investing, saving, or managing their expenses.
It really feels like the future of finance is becoming more personalized and integrated into our lives. And speaking of aligning values, Chapter 2, You Can't Wait to Have Fun, really resonated with me. It explores how purpose-driven companies are attracting both talent and investors who share their values and commitment to making a positive impact.
This chapter was a great reminder that consumers are becoming more conscious about where they spend their money and that they want to support businesses that align with their values. Purpose-driven companies are not just about making a profit, but about using their platform to make a difference in the world.
They're attracting top talent who want to work for companies that are making a positive impact, and they're also appealing to investors who are looking to align their portfolios with their values. It's a win-win-win situation.
It's about recognizing that business can be a force for good and that we don't have to choose between profit and purpose. And speaking of making a difference, Chapter 2, How Women Became a Growth Market, dives into the gender gap in financial literacy and how fintech is addressing this critical issue.
This chapter was so important. It really highlighted how women are often disadvantaged when it comes to financial literacy due to systemic barriers and societal expectations. It's about ensuring that everyone has the knowledge and skills to make informed financial decisions, regardless of their gender or background.
They showcase companies like Elevest, which is making financial education a core part of its mission. They're teaching women about investing, saving, and managing debt in a way that's accessible, engaging, and empowering.
It's about equipping women with the tools and knowledge they need to take control of their financial futures and achieve their goals.
And it's about recognizing that financial literacy is a fundamental right that empowers individuals to make informed choices and build a more secure future for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. And speaking of empowerment, Chapter 5, Rethinking Money Narratives, really resonated with me. It encourages us to have open and honest conversations about money, breaking down those taboos and myths that often hold us back.
I loved this chapter too. It really challenged those societal norms that often discourage us from talking about money, especially for women. They highlight Tori Dunlap, a financial expert who is doing incredible work to normalize money conversations and encourage women to talk about their finances openly and without shame.
It's about creating a safe space for people to share their experiences, ask questions, and learn from each other. When we're open about money, we can break down those barriers and empower each other to make informed decisions.
It's about recognizing that money is not a taboo subject and that open communication is crucial for building financial literacy, confidence, and well-being. And speaking of taking control, Chapter 3, Creating New Systems and Patterns, really encourages us to embrace failure as a learning opportunity and to see setbacks as stepping stones to success.
This chapter was so inspiring, it highlighted how failure is an inevitable part of the entrepreneurial journey, and it encouraged us to reframe our perspective on setbacks.
Yeah.
They showcase women entrepreneurs who have faced challenges and failures, but have used those experiences to learn, grow, and ultimately achieve their goals.
It's about recognizing that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. And it's about having the courage to take risks, to step outside of our comfort zones, and to know that even if we don't succeed the first time, we can learn from those experiences and come back stronger.
It's about embracing a growth mindset and seeing challenges as opportunities for learning and development. And speaking of development, Chapter 8, Playing the Cards We're Dealt, was a great reminder of the importance of self-care, especially for entrepreneurs who are often juggling multiple demands and responsibilities.
This chapter really hit home for me. It emphasized how important it is to prioritize our well-being, both physically and mentally, in order to be our best selves in our work and in our lives. They highlighted the importance of setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, and seeking support when we need it.
It's about recognizing that self-care is not selfish. It's essential for sustainable success. When we take care of ourselves, we're better equipped to handle challenges, make sound decisions, and achieve our goals.
It's about recognizing that we can't pour from an empty cup and that investing in our well-being is an investment in our success. And speaking of investing in ourselves, Chapter 3, From Overlooked to On Trend, really challenged that notion that vulnerability is a weakness, especially in the business world. It actually encourages us to embrace vulnerability as a source of power.
This chapter was so powerful, it really flipped the script on how we often perceive vulnerability. They highlighted women entrepreneurs who have embraced vulnerability and used it to build strong relationships, create supportive communities, and inspire others.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to have all the answers and that it's okay to ask for help. It's about being authentic, being willing to share our struggles, and being open to connecting with others on a deeper level.
It's about humanizing the entrepreneurial journey and creating a more compassionate and supportive ecosystem where we can all thrive. And speaking of creating a positive environment, Chapter 8, Tone at the Top, really dives into the importance of inclusive leadership and creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to succeed.
This chapter emphasized how crucial it is for leaders to set the tone for a positive and inclusive work environment. It's about recognizing that diversity and inclusion are not just HR initiatives. They're essential for creating a culture of innovation, creativity, and success.
They highlighted the importance of building teams where everyone feels comfortable bringing their whole selves to work, where different perspectives are valued, and where everyone has the opportunity to contribute their unique talents.
It's about recognizing that a positive and inclusive culture is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. It leads to happier employees, more engaged teams, and ultimately better business outcomes.
And speaking of better outcomes, Chapter 3, Increase the Swell of Female Founders, was really inspiring for anyone who's ever thought about taking the leap into entrepreneurship. It encouraged women who are new to the game to overcome their fears and doubts and believe in themselves and their ideas.
This chapter was all about empowering women to take that leap of faith and pursue their entrepreneurial dreams. They highlighted the unique challenges that first-time founders face, but they also emphasized the rewards and the impact they can have on the world.
They encourage women to tap into their networks, seek out mentors, and believe in their ability to make a difference.
It's about recognizing that you don't need years of experience or a fancy business degree to be a successful entrepreneur. It's about having a great idea, a passion for solving problems, and a willingness to learn and grow along the way.
And speaking of growth, Chapter 2, 10-Year Overnight Success, really encouraged us to embrace negotiation as a valuable skill, both in our professional and personal lives. It challenged those societal norms that often discourage women from advocating for themselves and asking for what they deserve.
This chapter was so empowering, it reframed negotiation as a form of communication and encouraged women to see it as a tool for achieving their goals and creating win-win situations. They provided practical tips and strategies for becoming more effective negotiators, emphasizing that negotiation is a skill that can be learned and developed with practice.
It's about recognizing our worth, having the confidence to ask for what we want, and knowing that we have the power to create the outcomes we desire.
And speaking of creating positive outcomes, Chapter 3, Birth of a Super Angel, was really inspiring. It highlighted the importance of supporting and investing in early stage companies, particularly those led by women and underrepresented founders.
This chapter was all about celebrating the role of super angels, those individuals who invest in and mentor startups in their early stages. They emphasize the importance of creating a supportive ecosystem for innovation where entrepreneurs can access the resources and guidance they need to succeed.
It's about recognizing that the next big idea could come from anywhere, and that investing in early stage companies is not just about financial returns. It's about fostering innovation, creating jobs, and building a more dynamic and equitable economy.
And speaking of personal growth, Chapter 8, an unconventional fintech CEO really resonated with me. It encouraged us to embrace lifelong learning and to constantly evolve and adapt in a rapidly changing world.
This chapter was a great reminder that learning never stops, especially in the fast-paced world of technology and finance. They highlighted the importance of being open to new ideas, new experiences, and new ways of doing things, emphasizing that personal growth is essential for both personal and professional success.
It's about having a growth mindset, challenging our assumptions, and constantly seeking out opportunities to learn and expand our horizons.
It's about embracing the journey of continuous learning and recognizing that the more we learn, the more we grow, and the more we can achieve. And speaking of achieving great things together, Chapter 3, Network Effect, really highlighted the importance of building strong networks and support systems, especially when facing challenges and setbacks.
This chapter was such a powerful reminder that we're stronger together. It emphasized that we don't have to go it alone and that having a supportive network can make all the difference when navigating the ups and downs of life and business.
They encourage women to build strong relationships with other women in their field, to seek out mentors who can offer guidance and support, and to create supportive communities where they can share their experiences and learn from each other.
It's about recognizing that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And it's about being willing to offer that same support to others, knowing that we can achieve so much more when we work together.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that supporting each other's success ultimately benefits everyone. And speaking of creating a more equitable world, Chapter 4, From Overlooked to On Trend, really dives into the importance of embracing diversity in all its forms.
This chapter was so thought-provoking, it challenged that limited view of diversity as just about race and gender. It expanded the conversation to include people with disabilities, LGBTQ+ individuals, and people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, emphasizing that true diversity encompasses a wide range of perspectives and experiences.
The book argues that diversity is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. It leads to more innovative solutions, better decision-making, and stronger teams.
It's about creating an environment where everyone feels welcome, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique talents and perspectives. And speaking of unique perspectives, Chapter 2, Betting on Black, was so insightful it encouraged us to rethink how we perceive risk and to challenge traditional risk assessments that often perpetuate biases and limit opportunities.
This chapter really flipped the script on how we often think about risk. It challenged the notion that risk is always a bad thing and encouraged us to recognize that calculated risks can lead to great rewards. It also highlighted how traditional risk assessments often perpetuate existing biases and limit access to capital for women and people of color.
The book argues that we need to develop new ways of evaluating risk that are more inclusive and equitable, recognizing that opportunities often lie in unexpected places.
It's about challenging those outdated assumptions and being willing to invest in potential even when it might not fit the traditional mold. And speaking of investing in potential topic, Chapter 7, From the Military to Fintech, was really eye-opening. It explores how fintech is being used to address the root causes of financial stress and helping people build a more secure financial future.
This chapter really emphasized the widespread nature of financial stress affecting people from all walks of life. It showcased how fintech can play a crucial role in helping people manage their finances more effectively, reduce debt, and build savings.
They highlight companies like Aura again, which uses behavioral science to help individuals develop healthy financial habits and make more informed financial decisions.
It's about recognizing that financial well-being is essential for overall well-being, and that everyone deserves access to the tools and resources they need to achieve financial security. And speaking of security, Chapter 2, Harnessing the Power of the Female Dollar, really drove home the point that women are a powerful economic force and that their financial decisions have a ripple effect on the entire economy.
This chapter really challenged that outdated notion that women are not as financially savvy as men. It highlighted the growing economic power of women and emphasized the importance of catering to their needs and preferences in the financial marketplace.
The book showcased companies like Ellevest again, which is specifically designed to meet the unique financial needs of women and encouraged businesses to recognize the untapped potential of the female market.
It's about recognizing that women are not a niche market, but a driving force in the economy, and that their financial decisions have a significant impact on businesses, communities, and the world as a whole.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into fintech feminists, it's clear that this movement is about much more than just technology or finance. It's about creating a more just equitable and inclusive world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
It's about challenging the status quo, disrupting outdated systems, and empowering individuals and communities to take control of their financial futures. It's about recognizing the power of innovation, collaboration, and a shared vision for a better future.
It's been an incredible journey exploring these ideas and stories, and we hope you've been inspired to learn more, engage in these important conversations, and take action to create the change you want to see in the world. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into fintech feminists.
We highly recommend picking up a copy of the book and diving deeper into these topics on your own. The future of finance is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in making it a future that works for everyone.